Hi, my name is Lainey Shaughnessy and I'm the new school nurse and Derryfield alumna of the class of 2014, and I'm so excited to be welcoming back our students, faculty, and staff to campus next week. As you may have heard, when we come back, we're going to be implementing these two new processes, including weekly testing and a process known as dedensification. The weekly testing is to ensure that we're keeping Derryfield as safe as possible and as low risk as possible, which includes the potential risk of introducing COVID-19 into our community through individuals that are not presenting any symptoms. Our process of dedensification is simply to make sure that those that need to be on campus are, and those that may be able to work from home are doing so. That means that your teachers that were here in the fall will continue to come to work every day, and that those that are able to work from home are still just as vital to the daily function of Derryfield. In the fall, we did a superb job of making sure that we were doing all of our layers of protection, including our 6 feet of distancing, wearing our masks, and using a lot of hand sanitizer and washing our hands. As we continue to do those things, in addition to these two new processes, we're going to make sure that Derryfield can continue to be safe and healthy. Derryfield has chosen to participate in pooled saliva testing, and I promise it's not as gross as it sounds. What this pooled saliva testing does is it allows 24 samples to be combined into one. That one sample is then tested to determine whether or not it contains COVID-19 or not. If it does contain COVID-19, additional testing is completed with that same sample you initially provided, and that pool is split into pairs of 12. Those 12 pooled pairs then are able to get tested to determine which pair or which pairs are positive, in which case then those 2 pairs will get tested individually, and we can determine which individual or individuals are positive for COVID-19. If you do happen to test positive for COVID-19, your parents can expect a phone call and an email from me letting them know the next steps that they need to take. But don't worry, your information is 100% protected and no one other than myself will know your true identity. When doing this testing, we anticipate to learn a lot in the first few weeks. We also anticipate that we might learn that a couple of our community members are positive for COVID-19, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that our campus has to close and that we have to go back to being virtual for the remainder of the year. It simply means that I have a little bit more work to do to see through contact tracing if we've had any spread within our community. If community spread is determined, then we will see exactly the ways that we can continue to strengthen our safety precautions and what we can learn from the experience. This is why it's especially important to make sure that we're continuing to socially distance and wear our masks. Those individuals that I identify as a close contact are those who have been within 6 feet of distance from one another for greater than 10 minutes. If you're greater than 6 feet and you haven't been closer for greater than 10 minutes, then you're okay. If we continue to follow all the safety measures that we've set in place, we should not have any community spread of COVID-19. Additionally, there's been a new frequently asked questions section added to our reopening page for students and families to review if they have any questions that arise. And of course, you can always contact me or email covid@derryfield.org with any questions you may have.
With higher cases in New Hampshire, pooled testing and dedensification provide extra layers of protection. The more layers we have to protect ourselves, the better. We appreciate your help.
When you arrive at your first period class, you'll find the testing kit with your name on it and go to your seat. In the testing kit, you'll find an alcohol wipe, the saliva collection tube, and a straw. Take the straw out of its original packaging. Take the collection tube, take the cap off, and insert the rigid end of the straw into the tube. Take your mask off and provide your saliva sample. When you're all done, you're going to put the straw back in its original packaging, take the cap, put it back on the saliva collection tube, open up the alcohol wipe and wipe down your tube and place it back into the bag. Seal the bag up and collect your trash. Put your mask back on, discard your trash in the trash bin, and put your sample in the envelope on the door of your first period class. And don't worry, the bag with your name on it will not be going to the lab, only your sample with a barcode will.
Having lunch in the A&W allows us to sit with our friends and stay safe while eating. Upper schoolers will eat in the A&W on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, and middle schoolers will eat in the A&W on Thursdays and Fridays. If you're not eating in the A&W, you will be eating in blocks 5 and 6 classrooms. When you're eating and unmasked, there is no talking. Once you finish and put your mask back on, then you can talk. Just as a reminder, anytime you're entering or exiting a building or classroom, you should be washing your hands or sanitizing. This is especially important as you enter the A&W for lunch.
You will notice that you have less passing time in between classes. This is to help reduce the amount of traffic that is in the hallway. What your teacher will do is spray the desks, and then you will help by drying off the desk with a paper towel and throwing away your garbage afterwards. Then you may sit down while the desk is drying.
It may be colder in the classrooms because of open windows for circulation, so please be sure to bring warm gear.
As you can see, we've added on extra layers for your protection. It's extremely important that you sign off on the permission to do the testing. Otherwise, you will not be able to come onto campus to do your learning. You'll have to do it remotely. This will affect you week to week. If you forget to do 1 week, or let Ms. Shaughnessy know that you're not going to be here on a Thursday, it would affect you for a whole week. So please remember, set a reminder on your phone or whatever it takes to remember to get your testing done by Thursday every week.